And then, okay. Good afternoon. I'm Stivender, and I'm an editor with the Tennessean. I am here with Jarmon. She is the president of MEPR. They're a boutique public relations agency here in Nashville, Tennessee. And today we're going to talk about charitable giving. It seems like just the right time of year to discuss that.
This is the perfect time of year.
Just a little bit of background on this topic. Over 5% of the $298 billion that Americans donated last year was in that pot of money from corporate giving. So we're talking about a nice amount of money coming from organizations like ours. Kia, I wanted to start out with, why should companies think about that charitable giving in the first place, given that our times are still a little tough and we're still trying to pull ourselves out of that ditch?
Well, I think what I've found is that some of the most successful companies give back to other people. That's the ultimate goal, is having that culture before the holidays come, of course, that allow you to give and to be really socially responsible of the talents, the treasures, the gifts that you have within your company, sharing them with other people. So really, as a company, giving people time off to go and do volunteer hours, whether it's you giving money, whether it's that as a company you bring in canned goods within the organization, but really having a real clear intention about giving to other people. It's really goodwill for the community, but it's also good for your business for promotion and marketing purposes and publicity purposes. You can really stretch your brand and get your brand out there a lot more.
Talk to me a little bit about how to stretch your brand like that. I know, in Nashville and a lot of the South, we're like, well, give, don't tell. How do you get your message out there that you've done this good work without appearing to, be kind of humble bragging?
Absolutely. Well, I think it's important to have a good balance. You, of course, don't want to seem too verbose in the content that you're putting out there, as if you are bragging, but really sharing with people, look at what we're doing, and we encourage you to do the same. So really going out to your community and saying, why don't you join us in this challenge, or why don't you do something like that with us? Also, within the organization that you decide to partner with, asking them to put you in their newsletter, and so that you can share, and it can be equal sharing in the good news of what you're doing. So those are a couple of ways in which you can do that. Of course, all social platforms give you an opportunity to do that, as well as if you decided to do a challenge with your company and say, we're going to match everything one of our customers bring in. You bring one can, we will match a can. You can do that through Facebook advertisements or sponsored ads or things like that, through your blog, through video posting. So there's great ways to stretch there in not such a, I'm going to send a press release to the news media every single time a can comes in.
Exactly.
So there's a balance there.
Speaking of the cans coming in, how should businesses go about deciding who they're going to give money, time, or goods to? Should it be the business owner's decision, or should it be a collective?
It should be kind of either or. I like for our clients to do a combined effort. Even if it's one employee and one head of the company, it really needs to be a conversation that happens, because it should be something that both of you are going to jointly be invested in. So if the employee doesn't enjoy it, it doesn't make it fun for anybody. So it really should be a joint effort. Again, if you also have customers or a large client base, you should include them into the conversation as well and see what it is that they would like to do. I think local is what we're seeing is best. Nashville is really great about being local and local focused, and that's what people want. Your consumer wants to see you doing, is giving to people in a local space. So that's absolutely should be a joint effort, and it should be as inclusive of the local community as possible.
Now, is there a difference between giving time and giving money?
Yeah, of course there is. Smaller organizations have a better time of giving their time. They want to donate PR hours. They want to donate technology services, things like that. Sometimes they can do that more than dishing out a load of money. What I would suggest for all business owners to do is to look within what type of entity they are, whether it's sole proprietorship, LLC, and figure out what your deductions need to be. So that's, of course, an accounting question, but that's the best way to find out how you should be giving. Sometimes it's not as best to give in money if you are a sole proprietor, things like that. You want to just make sure you know those questions and answers before you go into giving a whole lot of money and not receiving the incentive back for that.
Is there a rule of thumb as to how much money or how much time a company should be giving?
There are numbers, I've seen percentages out there. I really think you have to look at what you are able to do and capable of doing. Be realistic with yourself, be honest, because the reality is if you commit to doing 20 hours of work between you and someone else and you've got 100 hours to do for actual clients, it's unfair for you to do that with someone who's depending on you, who's a nonprofit or something in town. So really be realistic about that. I think the larger you are, the more you're able to pull out a 10% or 1%, or you're able to do that a little bit more with your dollars or your time. So I think that you can figure that out as you grow in size.
What about people who say they don't have time to figure that out in the first place? Like they don't know who to give to, they don't know how to deal with the taxes, all those things. Are there resources that can help people with that?
Absolutely, and I think that you should be a good steward of your time and your money, and you should research thoroughly. And so we, of course, have local organizations, Center for Nonprofit Management, Community Foundation has a great list. And then I know that the Tennessean has a new initiative that you all are launching where people can put their time in your system. So I'm not as familiar with that, but I think that that's a great place for them to.
Yeah, the way that works is through a partnership with Hands on Nashville. We've tapped their database of more than 400 volunteer opportunities per month, and so it makes it very easy for employees, employers to go in and sign up for projects that speak to them, whether it's hunger or homelessness or education or whatever it is. And then if that's too much work too, then the thing that we do for people every month is we collaborate with Hands on Nashville with a project of the month, where we will make that more of a broader, bigger volunteer experience, and other people will join us on that. And this month, it's actually next Thursday from 1 to 3, and we're helping out the Nashville Food Project.
Oh, great. So, which is great for this time of year, and really align your giving with what your company may already do. So if you are a sports goods store, you may want to sponsor a youth baseball, basketball, football.
Yeah, or a 5K or something like that.
Absolutely. So you want to kind of fall in line with what your community, again, listening to what your community is telling you that they want to give to, you may want to make sure you fall in line with that as well.
Kia, do you have personal pet projects or groups that you like for MEPR to help out with?
Well, I will say this, a big part, we've been in business for 6 years, and our foundation is community. So every single client that we have has to have a socially responsible element of their company. So every single one of them does, and all of our clients. And so we really focus on their projects with them and work alongside their teams. And so that's really huge for us. But I'm a huge nonprofit person in general. And for the most part, anything with girls really speaks to me. Anything with equality for women specifically is important to me. So YWCA, I'm on their junior board, and that's really important to me. So anything that really falls in line with those, that's where I spend most of my time.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Do you, going back to that promotional element, when you talked a little bit about using social media to get the word out about what you're doing, can you give some real specific pointers as to how to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, again, you may want to put a post on there and say, hey, we're considering giving our time to the following. And Facebook specifically has a survey option. So it may not be a name of an organization. I wouldn't consider doing that. But I would say, do you think that we should spend our time this Christmas at a homeless shelter, spend our time at the food bank, spend our time at, and then allow them to vote and be a part of that community
That's
element.
Smart. So you're crowdsourcing the idea in the first place.
Absolutely. And I think that that's what social networks and social platforms are to do for us, is to be a place for us to have that conversation and community. The other place is to make sure that you're posting your good deeds, whatever that is, whether it's through videos and photos. What we do know about social platforms is that the higher the algorithm of Facebook is that they want to see fresh content with pictures and links. And so put those pictures up there of you doing really great stuff in the community. If you're donating to Second Harvest, make sure that you have the bin and you're beside the bin with the canned good, and you're giving a minute by minute, if you will, maybe not that much, maybe every hour, saying, hey, we've now gotten to 40 pounds of food and we're going to be able to feed X amount of people. People really want to engage with you in that, and I found that really helpful with clients that I've represented, is that people want that, where are we now? Do I need to bring something?
Yeah,
they kind of get, it's competitive, but it's exciting at the same time for them. So those are probably a couple of examples in which I would encourage companies to do that.
That reminds me of tonight is the last Nash cocktail of the year, and we're going to have it over at Sam's Club at 6 o'clock. But the Tennessean is a sponsor. I bring it up now because it's a food drive as well.
Okay.
So if you come check out all the tech and social community in Nashville, you can hang out with all your friends there. But some of the money and the canned goods and box goods that you bring will all be given to Second Harvest.
And it's a competitive piece, I did see, between two organizations, so Nash Cocktail and another organization. I think that that's a really healthy way for a group of entrepreneurs or solopreneurs to all come together and really give their time and effort. Because most of the time it's hard to give a bunch of money at this time of year. For many businesses in the fourth quarter, you're trying to bring in as much as you can.
Yeah.
So it's really good to be able to just give your time. And this exercise that you all are doing is really a great one.
It's thanks to the bigger Nashville community that is able to happen. So.
Absolutely. And we have a really great local community, and we really want to tap into that. So again, think really locally about your giving. That's going to be so important. We have so many organizations, but make sure that it is a reputable and legitimate organization. Make sure that they're able to be taxable, and that's, if you're really looking for a tax incentive, you want to make sure that they are an organization where you get that tax incentive, in addition, of course, to your community giving.
Exactly. Okay. Great words of advice and very practical tips as well. If you want to tune in again, we will have this on the Tennessean's business page for forever. But you can also check out Kia and I on Twitter if you want to find out more about what we do and who we are. See you next week at Tuesday at 3 o'clock for Business Talk at Your Desk.